So I've been seeing a lot of comments like this on TikTok when it comes to people showcasing some of the things that neurodivergent people do. I think that a lot of ADHDers, a lot of autistic people, when they see things like this, kind of feel like a sense of defensiveness, being on the back foot, feeling gaslit, because they're like, no, I really see myself in this. And so I want to help sort of differentiate between what is something that is, yeah, everyone does this as part of the human condition, and also, no, this is really true for someone who is neurodivergent. Hi, I'm Lauren. I am an ADHD coach. I work full-time at a university helping neurodivergent students on a daily basis. So now I'm kind of also starting to work as an ADHD coach outside of that, and I'm on my own journey. I have a psychiatrist appointment booked early next year in March. I'm really looking forward to it. I've done all the pre-assessment tests, and from everything that I can see, it's like, yeah, it's pretty clear that I probably have ADHD, or maybe even a combination of autism and ADHD. But until you get that formal diagnosis, you're kind of in this liminal space. You're on the precipice of discovering something about yourself, but you also are kind of constantly questioning yourself. Well, that's the case for me anyway. And so when you see, for me, when I see comments like this, like, doesn't everybody do this? And I hear it constantly as well in people that I'm talking to in my life. I think it's like kind of because there are these common things that we all experience, but when we experience them or how often we experience them is often the difference. And so I came up with this little drawing that if we said like this was the line of balance and stimulation. Okay, so this is going to be absolute balance here. This is the line of being towards like overstimulation, right? So here we're going to say understimulation, right? If I look at how other people behave versus me, this is how I kind of see it. For me to say balanced, there is a very, very narrow path here of what I can handle in terms of where I start to feel overstimulated and understimulated. I'm just going to put for me, because I don't know if I have what I have exactly, but this is just what I'm observing. Then I'm going to say that here is where I kind of see like a lot of other people reaching the point of where things become too overstimulating. And I'll tell you what that looks like in a minute. So I'll just say this is for neurotypicals, okay, for now. And this would be understimulating. This part here is also, for me, where I kind of feel like I can actually do things quite well. So this is like when things are urgent, and this is, again, what's talked about in the literature, and also like what my students will say. Actually, being in emergency situations, I feel very, very, very calm and clear-headed. And also, say, for instance, if there's like a tragedy, it's not necessarily pleasant, but it's actually when I feel like my brain is very like, it's like this zoom kind of feeling. Then there's these other things also that some people find really understimulating that I'm like, makes me feel really grounded and connected. Say this would be things like peeling labels off bottles, color coordinating my wardrobe. I actually find clothes quite boring, but I like seeing all my clothes in the right order. Like I color coordinate all my pens, like color coordinating or organizing. Like my bookshelf is all color coordinated. I used to organize it as a kid by alphabetical order. No one told me to do that. I just wanted to do that. And it'll also be, say, for instance, just like lying in a park with no one around, being in a really like dark, quiet room can help me feel really grounded, right? And then I want to talk about the things that maybe like here are different and here are different. So say for instance, for me, I find like where it's like really, really boring and I feel really understimulated and start to feel like I have to perform, right? So in this spot here is where a lot of neurotypical people seem to be able to handle it okay. So say, for instance, like normal conversation, where it's like, you know, one person asks a question, one person answers the question. What is a normal conversation? You know, things that maybe aren't too deep. Like often people will say to me, oh, you're very intense. People always say that to me, you're very intense in conversation. Talking about one thing at a time, that would be really boring for me. Like, let's talk about one thing and then we'll go on to the next thing. Like just that typical work stuff. Administration, repetitive tasks, just the normal at work. Day to day, like not too stressful, like just the at work stuff I find very understimulating, and so then I procrastinate. Or what I would find overstimulating, a lot of people seem to enjoy. So that would be things like I never really understood the whole clubbing thing, but maybe a lot of people don't. I don't know. I'm just talking about me. Like some parties, it depends. Like if there's loud music, I just find it really boring. But also really overwhelming. It's sort of like the worst of both worlds. But if it's like a dinner party where you can talk to people one-on-one, then I'm happy, that's fine. Going to festivals. Also, some people seem to enjoy parenting. That, like, I don't understand that at all. One that seems to be both, I don't know which side you'll put this on, is like driving. Like driving is something I really struggle with. I find it's way too much to think about, or it's really boring. It's kind of like on either side of where I can handle things. If all of us will be like, oh yeah, everyone does this, right? But then at some point it like diverges, where these things are suddenly things that I'm not really performing anywhere near my best. My performance massively drops off here. And so what I end up doing in both of these cases to compensate is I'm kind of like acting or masking to try to fit in here. But maybe everyone's doing that. I don't know. That's the thing, right? We don't know what's in other people's brains, but this is where I feel like I have to pretend the most here. And then this is where I just feel like the most different, because it's sort of like here, I'm kind of like, it's a really hyper focus, perform at my best, and everyone else seems to be really struggling. And the same down here is like, other people might be like, what do you mean? Like you spent your Saturday just like lying in a park. What did you do? I'm like, I don't know, I just listened to music. It was really nice. There is like this sort of almost like spiritual sense of connection. I'm not religious or anything, but that's the way I would describe it. It's like grounding. There are these shared things, then there's this acting space, and then this like other area, and that's how I kind of see it. Yeah, hopefully that made sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm really curious about this space between, you know, when you self-diagnose and then you actually get a diagnosis and you have that confirmation and validation of what's going on. I think a lot of us are in that waiting period, and I just wanted to create this, to be like, this is what goes on in my head. All right, cheers, bye.